Hi there, I'm Park Howell, and welcome to Your Business of Story Training. I'm so delighted that you are here because we are going to show you how you can craft and tell compelling stories that actually move people to action. This is so much fun for me because it's kind of brought a portion of my career full circle. You see, I taught at Arizona State University for 5 years as an adjunct professor of practice in a master's program in the School of Sustainability. Now, our program was funded by your former chairman of the board and his wife, Rob and Melanie Walton. They're pictured here with the president of ASU, Dr. Michael Crow. Now, I got a chance to interview Rob and Melanie on several occasions for videos that ASU was doing, and I could get them to say things about the programs that ASU really loved to have told about the program. So they started calling me the Walton Whisperer, which I thought was a blast. Anyways, fast forward a few years when I was working there, and it was one hot June afternoon, early evening in downtown, Old Town, Scottsdale. And we were there, my wife Michelle and I with some friends, at this little hole-in-the-wall restaurant called Frank and Lupe. We got there, the crowd started to come in, we were eating, and then I looked up and I noticed who just sat down but Rob and Melanie Walton. They were sitting at this little table right here next to the window. So I looked at my friends and my wife and I said, how many people in here realize that the chairman of the board of Walmart is sitting right here in Frank and Lupe's with his wife having a little dinner? Well, they said, are you going to go over and say something to them? And I said, no, I don't want to bother them. When we're finished, we'll just hit the door. So I started leading our party out this door right here, when all of a sudden I heard a pounding on this window right here. And I looked up, and who was it? But Melanie Walton pounding on the window, waving me in, saying, come in. Next thing I know, here I am sitting at that little table with Rob and Melanie as they're eating their chips and having a little bit of margaritas in preparation for the dinner. And we did a little idle chit-chat for about 5 minutes, and then I excused myself so they could get on with their evening. But what that underscored to me is really that nice, friendly family values that I found working with them and working with all of you at Walmart. So you might be wondering, why storytelling? Why now? Well, stories are what motivate us to action. And we're going to be covering one particular framework in this training, but I want to first share with you the bigger idea around storytelling, and that is of the hero's journey.
What do Harry Potter, Katniss Everdeen, and Frodo all have in common with the heroes of ancient myths? What if I told you they are all variants of the same hero? Do you believe that? Joseph Campbell did. He studied myths from all over the world and published a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, retelling dozens of stories and explaining how each represents the monomyth, or hero's journey. So, what is the hero's journey? Think of it as a cycle. The journey begins and ends in the hero's ordinary world, but the quest passes through an unfamiliar, special world. Along the way, there are some key events. Think about your favorite book or movie. Does it follow this pattern?
Now, I have included this whole video in your resources below, but I wanted to introduce you to the hero's journey because that's how I got into storytelling. Look, this is a pattern of story. It's called a monomyth that we see in films, in books. We see it everywhere because it mirrors life. When I came across it, I realized how powerful it could be using the monomyth or the hero's journey as a story template in business. So I looked at it and I mapped it to business using what I now call the 10-step story cycle system. And as you'll notice, it's not a one and done circle like the hero's journey is, but it is this expanding spiral of engagement. With every story told and shared and participated in, that relationship grows with your audience, from brand awareness, to when they first hear about you, to brand adoption, where they're bought into what you're about, to brand appreciation, where they're coming back for more and doing something really important, and that's sharing your story with their world. But the hero's journey and even my 10-step story cycle system is kind of complicated. So that's not where we are going to begin with this training. And in fact, if you'd like to learn more about the story cycle system, listen to my show. I do a weekly podcast. I've been doing it for 7 years. Show number 350. I'll walk you through the whole story cycle system. The first 15 minutes of the hour-long program is a quick review of the 10 steps. The following 45 minutes is a deeper dive with exercises that you can use throughout. And I'm proud to share with you that FeedSpot named our show the #1 business storytelling podcast for 2022. So you see, I'm a 7-year overnight success. Now with this training, we are not going to be training on the hero's journey or the 10-step story cycle system. We will be talking a little bit about the 5 primal elements of a short story for big impact, and even where do you tell those stories to create trust, to reveal a truth, to overcome some tension in a story, and of course to share a triumph through a story. But really what this training is all about is the and, but, therefore, the ABTs of storytelling that uses the 3 forces of story of agreement, contradiction, and consequence. It is so powerful. You are going to love this little messaging marvel. But you might be asking, where in the world do I use an ABT in my communication? Let's go through a few things. This would be a little bit of a test for you. Check off the places that you think you can use an ABT. For instance, it might be ideal to focus your presentations, to kick off a virtual meeting with a bang, craft more compelling emails that actually get a response, to elevate your LinkedIn bio to grab attention, dramatically increase engagement with your tweets, frame short and sweet stories on your Instagram posts, generate more Facebook fame, overcome objections, persuasively state your case in contract negotiations, confidently cut to the chase when your boss only gives you 5 minutes to sell your idea. Create a common storytelling language to easily amplify the impact of your team. Clarify a complex message in long-form communications. All of the above and the 2 below. Bridge the gap between marketing hyperbole and the sales stories that actually work. And finally, get your kids to eat their peas. So what did you check off? Where can you be using the ABT in your work? Well, how about right there? All of the above and the 2 below. There you have it. This landing page is chock full of storytelling resources just for you. The most important one right now is right below. Click that link, jump over, and take our quick online course that will familiarize you with the ABT, how to build it so that we can all hit the ground running in our workshop here in the next 10 to 12 days. Oh, and if you want to build your ABT live during the workshop, please email it to me at park@businessofstory.com a day before our session. You'll be doing your colleagues a huge favor by sharing your ABT with them, and we will build it together. If you have any questions, let me know, and let's get after it. Story on, my friend.